Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Tenyi Yugioh deck profile. This is the latest and one of the newest decks that was released in one of the Rising Rampage TCG booster packs. It's a really awesome deck. We haven't really had a worm deck in Yu-Gi-Oh, like a soul focus worm deck, in quite a while. I really do like what they are going off of it. I get a real Yang Zing vibe with it. I'd say a little more consistent with what we started off with compared to Yang Zings. Just with the consistency, you can get out non-effect link monsters for this deck. So it's a really awesome deck. Happy with the results. And let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So to start off, for the monsters, I run 3 Tenyi Spirit Adhara. If you control no effect monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard. Then target one of your banished worm monsters, except this one, and add it to your hand. You can only use the effect of Adhara once per turn. So you just have the easy special summon option, since a lot of your Tenyi monsters are non-effect monsters. So when you link summon those cards out, you then have the easy options of then using those monsters to special summon out the other Tenyi monsters, and then just go for bigger and bigger link summons. And the fact that Tenyi Spirit Adhara also means if you wanted to run some synchro monsters in the deck, you have that option as well. We will be receiving some Tenyi synchro monsters in the next booster pack, so definitely looking forward to that. But for this deck, mostly wanted to focus on the link power the deck had, but if you want, you can try mixing in, and I'll give some advice of what link monsters to add in later on at the end of the video. I also run 3 Tenyi Spirit Nahata. A good amount of the Tenyi monsters are also level 4. Tenyi Spirit Nahata shares the same effect. If you control no effect monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand, and when an attack is declared involving your face-up non-effect monster and an opponent's face-up monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard. That opponent's monster loses 1500 attack until the end of this turn. You can only use each effect of Nahata once per turn. So you also have that hand trap power, or even just the banish from the graveyard to work to lower your opponent's power down with Nahata. You also have the option to add it back to your hand with Adhara, which definitely does help for consistency, putting it back into your hand to reuse. But the easy special summon is a big benefit from this card as well. And I also run 3 Tenyi Spirit Shithana. With this one, same effect. If you control no effect monsters, to special summon it from the hand. And if a face-up non-effect monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, then target one of those destroyed monsters and special summon it, and then you can destroy one monster your opponent controls. And you can only use each effect of Shithana once per turn. But you have that option for the result with your Tenyi monsters to then banish this card from your hand or graveyard to target one of those destroyed ones and special summon it back, giving you consistency and resources to use again, and then also being able to take care of your opponent's cards also. And now, if you also notice, all the Tenyis also have different attributes. So I run 3 Tenyi Spirit Mapura. If you control no effect monsters, once again, same special summon for this card. And when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a face-up non-effect monster you control, quick effect, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, negate the activation, and then destroy that card. You can only use each effect of Tenyi Spirit Magura once per turn. So more protection for the targets of a non-effect monster, which, like I said, the majority are going to be your link monsters that you summon out. I just like running 3 of each consistently, so then if you get out your link monster for your Tenyi, you have more and more in your hand to make use of as well for the deck. And then for the last of the Tenyi main deck monsters, I run 3 Tenyi Spirit Vishuddha. This is the high level one, but still no limit really with its summon, because if you control no effect monsters, once again, you could special summon this card from your hand, and if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can banish this card from your hand or graveyard, then target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. You can only use each effect of Vishuddha once per turn. The return to the hand definitely does come in handy for the fact that you may go up against a lot of stuff your opponent may have that just don't have the same sort of answers for getting around them like some of your destruction effects can do. So just having this option to take care of your opponent's cards with the return to hand is a big help with Vishuddha especially. And the 2500 defense, if you do special summon it out, makes it for a good defensive wall if need be also. And then just for a little added backup for the worm support, I run 3 Mare, along with also being a tuner if you wanted to go the synchro route. This card with the setup that you can do with your Tenyi Link monster definitely does help for the plays you can do setting it up in the graveyard. It cannot be special summoned except by the effect of a worm type monster, and during your main phase you can return this. We can reduce this card's level by 1, and if you do special summon 1 mini Mare token with a level 1, and then you can only use the effect of Mare up to thrice per turn. So I don't see thrice too often on a Yu-Gi-Oh card, but it's pretty awesome just being able to give you those many tokens to work with. Gives you more link summon options, gives you, like I said, the synchro option depending on what other monsters you have, but also being able to reduce Mare's level to then use this usable tuner as well is a big help. I like to run the 3 just because there are a lot of situations when you also set it up in the graveyard. If your opponent, let's say, Call by the Graves it, then you lose that Mare, but you still want to have other resources to go into if you want with your Mare, and we have other cards that definitely do help to set it up in the graveyard. And to finish off the monsters, I also run 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It's just a hand trap that definitely does come in handy when a card effect is activated that includes any of these effects. You could discard this card and then obviously stop your opponent from sending cards or searching their deck out. So a 3 of this hand trap definitely does help just for that resource to then shut down your opponent as well for their searches while you're special summoning and getting your big link monsters out onto the field. And that is it for the monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. You send 1 Worm monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then if you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 Tenyi monster with a different card name from that monster sent to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 Vessel once per turn. But once I said before, setting up in the graveyard is a great way to get set up your Mare in the graveyard, or also just for some of the other banished Tenyi effects. So a definite 3 of for the fact that I could just get through the deck very, very easily as well. And I also run 3 Flawless Perfection of the Tenyi, with Terraforming being 1. I just wanted quicker access to this field spell. All non-effect monsters on the field are unaffected by monster effects, and once per turn, if your opponent special summons an effect monster while you control a face down monster or non-effect monster, you can draw 2 cards. So this field spell, having it set up, is a big key part of the plays in the deck. So you definitely want to have this always on the field when you're working on your Tenyi plays. That's why I also run the 1, now new, fresh on the ban list, Terraforming, for an easier amount of search that you can use and access with this deck. And for more of just with the fact that you do need to set up a lot of Tenyis in your graveyard, so sending to the graveyard can be a big problem if your opponent Ash Blossoms you yourself. So I run 3 Call by the Grave, just a good added backup as long as you have the monster consistency in your hand. The other cards, along with your field spell setup and just the sending to the graveyard, can definitely you have room for 3 Call by the Graves in the main deck, so then you can stop your opponent and make sure your own plays go off. And then for a couple of the one-ofs in the deck, for the spells, I run 1 World Legacy Succession and 1 Monster Reborn. Just easy special summoning to the field definitely does help with either of these. And you have plenty of times with World Legacy Succession that you will have a Link Arrow on the field to make use of. And the 1 Foolish Burial goes very, very well with the Tenyi spell, just for more send effects as well, depending on what you wanted to send, since you can only activate 1 Vessel for the Dragon Cycle per turn. So if you open up Foolish Burial and Vessel both, you can then use both of them to set up more and more monsters in the graveyard. And then also, moving on to the traps, I am trying out 3 Fists of the Unrivaled Tenyi. When a spell or trap or monster effect is activated while you control a face-up non-effect monster, you negate the activation. And if this set card you control is destroyed by your opponent's card effect, you can special summon 1 non-effect monster from your extra deck. So that gives you access to your Tenyi Link monsters. Obviously, you can even try some non-effect other extra deck monsters. I know someone actually gave me the recommendation for Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon being a non-effect monster. So you have that power play if you wish and have a little extra room in your extra deck to play around with. So it's a crazy play to definitely give a shot. And the last trap I run is 3 Waterfall of Dragon Souls. With this one, you activate one of the effects. You can add 1 Worm monster from your deck to your hand, or you can send any number of Worm monsters from your hand and or face up on your field to the graveyard to draw cards equal to the number of monsters you sent plus 1. So just having the send option or the search option from your deck to your hand definitely does help with this trap, just being able to set it and then obviously bait out your opponent, which I don't think they would want to try and destroy anything. Having this potentially on the field would give you a free special summon as well, but this card definitely does help just to set up more and more of your plays. And then that's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, I would definitely want to run at least 3 Shaman of the Tenyi. You need 2 Worm monsters to make it, and you can discard 1 card, then target 1 Worm monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. Also, for the rest of this turn, you cannot activate effects of monsters special summon from the extra deck except Tenyi monsters. And when an attack is declared involving your face-up non-effect monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, destroy it, and you can only use each effect of Shaman of the Tenyi once per turn. So this one with Mare will definitely come in handy when we get the Tenyi Synchro monster, but also it is your easiest way, and I would say probably the only way to get out Mare in the deck for the special summon from the graveyard after you set it up, then giving you more and more token access as well with this card. And only needing 2 or monsters makes it that much easier to summon out. I'll show what other monsters in the extra deck I would take out to add additional shamans. But I also run 3 Monk of the Tenyi, being a non-effect Link 1 Tenyi monster is a big benefit for sure, just having this as an option to summon out to the field, because then you can have the easy special summon of your other Tenyi monsters in your hand, so it's a big help as well with the Link 3 Tenyi monster, which is Berserker of the Tenyi, a 3,000 attack point monster, just needing 2 or more monsters, including a Link monster, which can easily be made with this deck, and having this 3k powerhouse on the field along with your other monsters makes it very scary for your opponent to go up against. And then for the rest of the generics, I run 1 Link Karibo, 1 Akashic Magician, 1 Underclock, 1 Nightmare Phoenix, 1 Nightmare Cerberus, 1 Triple Burst, 1 Boral Sword, and 1 Boral Load. If you want to add more of the Shaman of the Tenyi, I would recommend taking out 2 of any of the extra cards I suggested for the generics to run in the deck for those spots. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Until next time, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.